Well, I thought I'd just show y'all how I make these, what I call lazy man's bottom board and top cover for Nuc boxes. So what I've done already, I'm of course behind like usual, I've already started on it, but what I've done so far is I've cut all of these boards 9 5/8 high by 19 7/8 long. And that means that they will work for the, no, they won't work for the sideboards of a Nuc, just kidding. They're too long for the sideboards of a Nuc. I could cut them off a little bit shorter to 19 1/8, but they will work for bottoms and tops, the way that I build my bottoms and tops. So I don't do the protruding bottom board on a Nuc where it sticks out 2 inches. I do a flush mount. I've showed you all how to do it before. Flush fit with a slot. So you'll see that like on these here, the box will sit directly on top. There won't be any lip sticking out, but I've already cut all those 9 5/8 by 19 7/8. And then the scrap, because these are 11 1/4 from the store, so you got this little scrap that's about 1.5 inches wide. I ripped that down into these strips that are 19 7/8 by 1/2 by 3/4. Now the 1/2 is more than you need for proper B space, but this means that it will give them below the frames 3/4 of an inch below the frame. Stupid air compressor. It'll give you 3/4 of an inch below the frame, and it will give you, let's see, 1/8. It'll give you 5/8 of an inch above the frame, so more than you need for B space, but not so much that it's going to give you a whole lot of issues with barcode and stuff. So it gives you kind of a good universal use. You could just use 3/8 of an inch. 1/2 inch just makes me feel a little bit safer on the table saw. So anyway, once I get everything cut out from my strips, I go in here and nail them down. So here's your 3/4 by 1/2 inch high by the length of the box. Then I'll have to cut more strips that'll go one all the way across the back. And I can leave the front all the way open. Sometimes I'll close it off and I'll make the front entrance only like 3 or 4 inches wide, but really you could leave it all the way open and you'd probably be fine for most Nuc setups. If you ever want to put in an entrance reducer, of course, you'd have some of these strips spare and just slide it in that front gap, however much you want to close off. So you really don't have to secure anything as a front entrance, but these work pretty great. And then, oh, for the top cover, if you want to have a top entrance, of course, you could just have this board, flip it upside down again, and have them have a top entrance that way, or just put your narrow strip here, narrow strip there. So what I'll probably do is put a strip all the way across the back, and then I will do like the half fronts like I was suggesting, because then that makes a smaller entrance on the front, but it also gives the option for an entrance up top. So I like to do it that way. But anyway, I just want to show this to you. I'll show you the finished product here in a minute. Well, I almost forgot. It's about 3 days later, but here's the finished product. So I was showing you, you know, I had the 2 sides done. So now I've glued and nailed in the solid, what would be the back or the front, doesn't matter, whichever way you call it, the back, basically. The solid strip, and then on the front, I've got basically a half strip and half open. This is probably 4 inches wide. This is not by any sort of design. This is not so it fits a Boardman feeder. This is because I had this little scrap this size and it worked okay. So this one actually, you know, is just a single side, if you will, a one-sided entry. If you look down at some of the other ones on my stack here, for example, this one here, this will be a centered entry. And, you know, again, I didn't do that for any particular reason. Just had 2 little 3-inch scraps, and so I made, you know, a narrower entry. Now, by usage, I'll probably try to use these smaller centered ones as tops and the wider half-width ones as bottoms, but it really doesn't matter. You know, we're running these on 5-frame Nucs, so an entrance this size on a 5-frame Nuc is just fine for general use. So anyway, just want to show that to you guys as the sort of finished product. I've got these mostly painted. I've just got to finish painting the top of them. It's still just primer white, but I've got packages coming in tomorrow, so probably not going to get the final coat of paint on them just yet, but I've got to get things set up and ready.